just completely kicked me out and then wouldn't let me back in. So
it's that backwoods North Carolina internet.
Dude, I mean, yeah, most likely. Okay. Do you want to pull up the free agent sheet here as we were rudely interrupted? Okay.
All right, I have to ask you because Morgan and I were talking about this while you were gone.
Okay.
Joey Votto.
Yes.
So Morgan said he could see him coming back for like one more year with like the Astros or the Rangers making a run to the World Series ring. How do you feel about that?
I don't know, man. I feel that he wants to be a Red for life. If the Reds don't offer him a couple more, a lower deal other than that $20 million option, I think he just straight up retires. It's a good debate because I don't know. I'm sure he would love to win a ring, but it's kind of also a roll of the dice of where he goes, which team would offer him a spot to actually go and compete, because he put up decent numbers when he came back from his injury.
He did. And obviously, just because you make the playoffs doesn't mean you can win the World Series.
Exactly, as you saw this year. So I don't know. Joey Votto's an interesting one to me. I think he either stays a Red or retires. He's kind of in this Clayton Kershaw boat for me. So as I was saying before, I was
yes, Morgan.
Kicked off. Yep,
he needs to be an ambassador of some sort. They need to create a job for him.
Completely agree with that, 1,000%.
All right, Clayton Kershaw.
Yes, before I was rudely kicked off by this platform we use, with the question marks in the Dodgers pitching staff, especially this year, and not knowing what they're going to have next year, I think they could bring Kershaw back for one more year. Low money, low risk. If he gives you innings, he gives you innings. I think he's going to make one more run with the Dodgers. And then again, especially if Ohtani goes to the Dodgers, that gives them a little bit more spunk towards the offseason here. So I'm saying he re-signs for one more year.
Yeah, just don't give him any playoff starts.
Exactly. So that's my thought there. Okay. Eddie Rodriguez. What are your thoughts on him?
I don't know. I
honestly.
What's your thought?
He goes back to where it all began.
All right. I've heard 3 landing spots for Eddie Rodriguez. I've heard Boston. I've heard Baltimore. I've heard Cincinnati. I would be shocked to see Cincinnati offer big money to anybody. But I think the question becomes, what's the market for Eddie? That's going to dictate where he lands. I'm going to say Boston. I'm saying he comes back to the Red Sox.
Okay.
I don't love it, but I don't know where to put him. Like I don't know how big the market for him is going to be.
Yeah, I think it's very limited too, but I think he goes to Baltimore. Baltimore is going to look for a top end starter. They have young pitchers there that are good. They're decent. They're going to develop. They're going to look for a veteran. And I think that's where he goes. Yeah. I mean, also not a bad choice there.
I mean, it's true. I look at Eddie Rodriguez and I'm like, is he a difference maker? No, not really. He's a middle of the rotation kind of guy. He's a 3 starter, maybe a 2 on a bad team. He's got history in Boston. I don't know. I have a tough time placing him because he's just not he wasn't great in Detroit.
Yeah.
He had that like year where he just like took personal leave. Like, I don't know what to make of him.
Yeah, I don't either. But I think he ends up in Baltimore personally, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in Boston. So, yeah.
Well, I think the Red Sox wanted to keep him. They just weren't willing to pay him that kind of money because they knew he wasn't worth that kind of money. And basically his stint in Detroit proved it.
Yep. Agree. All right. Young Ho Lee. He is a Korean guy that's coming over. Not a lot of people have been talking about him, but he put up some gaudy numbers in Korea, and he's, due to come over. My thoughts on him is the Chicago Cubs is, I think, is where he ends up.
Okay. He's
That's a 1 out of 30 guess there.
I was gonna say there's the only reports I've heard have kind of placed him with the Giants. The Giants have a lot of interest in him.
Okay.
I've really heard nothing else about him. I don't know what his numbers are. I mean, his numbers are really, really impressive. He
Yeah.
was the KBO MVP in 2022. I mean, the dude can play.
Right.
Um, super high OBP, a lot of walks, not a lot of strikeouts. He's only 25. Like he seems like he should be a guy that more teams are talking about. It's been
Yep.
quiet. So the only team I've heard mentioned is the Giants. I'll take the Giants. I don't
Okay.
I don't know what to make of him.
Yeah. All right. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. This is an interest. The outfielders, I think, are hard too.
They are.
I feel like they could kind of go anywhere. They don't have specific, you could go to corners. But where do you think Gurriel signs?
I think the D-backs will make a hard push to keep him. I think he
Yeah.
wants to stay there. I've heard rumors of the Marlins. I've heard rumors of the Twins, but again, like the Twins then are saying they're not going to do much.
Right.
I think Gurriel is going to end up in Miami or Arizona.
Okay.
And I feel like Arizona would be crazy to let him go.
I agree with that one too.
And I think he wants to be there.
Yeah, I agree, especially after the year they just had.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you there. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up in Miami with his brother.
It would make a lot of sense, yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I think he goes to I think he stays with the D-backs. I think they re-sign him. Again, Dodgers when they don't get Ohtani.
I mean, Morgan, yeah, he might be a consolation prize to somebody.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it all comes down to that, right? It really does. Like teams are banking on winning the Ohtani sweepstakes, and then they'll fill in their roster according to what happens.
Yep. And it will change in the entire offseason for everybody once he's found a home.
Yep. Agree. But I think ultimately Gurriel stays in Arizona because they're not going to have a shot at Ohtani. So they're, depends on if they can sign another outfielder at some point, but I think he stays in Arizona. I don't really see him anywhere else either, to be honest.
No, I don't. I struggle to think that there's a huge market for Gurriel.
Yeah. So, all right. And in the same breath here, Teoscar Hernandez. You can have his 260 strikeouts this year. And I mean, I don't know what his power numbers were off the top of my head, but I mean, I think he led the AL in strikeouts.
I think he led the world in strikeouts. He looks like a Yankee.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Oh God,
no. Morgan, I hope Ohtani goes villain and goes to the Astros. Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine? Oh my goodness.
I'd probably stop watching baseball if that happened.
I don't even know what to do at that point. Yikes.
Goodness. All right. I'm going to let you take a stab at Hernandez. Where's he going?
So I can be wrong first?
Yep.
I've heard a lot of reports that the Red Sox are going to trade Verdugo and to use that to fill the second base gap, which means you got an outfield spot open. They've liked Teoscar Hernandez for a long time. I could see Teoscar Hernandez ending up in Boston. I could see him ending up with the Giants. I could see him ending up with the Diamondbacks if Gurriel Jr. moves on. I feel like Teoscar Hernandez's market is solely dependent on somebody else's movement. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, because I think Gurriel stays and I think Bellinger stays, I feel like Teoscar Hernandez probably ends up somewhere like Boston because they're going to trade Verdugo, which I hate, and we're going to get him as a consolation prize.
All right. Yeah. I mean,
because I struggle to see a guy like Soler be able to play outfield in Boston. I think he's going to be the best of your options.
Yeah, I don't have the slightest clue or idea where this guy is going to end up.
Nope.
If I had to take a stab in the dark, I think I'm going to go Cardinals. The
Oh,
whole
all right.
the whole Tyler O'Neill thing is I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Yeah, we never really got there's no like conclusion to that story, right?
Not really, other than Marmol and him didn't really see eye to eye. So it's just I don't know.
Teoscar will pair well with Baez in Detroit.
You ain't wrong there. That's
That would be two black holes next to each other in the lineup.
I can't even imagine. But yeah.
I think the Mariners will talk to him. I just don't think they love him. He's one of those guys he's too talented to not get a job, but he's not talented enough where there's going to be a big market for him. Like he's going to be somebody's second choice.
Agree. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. He had 26 home runs this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, not terrible. 211 strikeouts. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's the guy that he kind of teases you at these moments.
Yeah, that's a lot. And he hit 258. So not like stellar, but I don't know. All right.
Good enough. He's going to land somewhere, but he's going to be somebody's second choice.
Agree. All right. Rhys Hoskins coming off an ACL. I am going to go here with Rhys Hoskins.
Brewers. All right. I could see that. Morgan, I'm with you. I think Hoskins goes probably one of two places. He's going to go somewhere obscure. He's going to go to the Rockies. He's going to go to the Angels. He's going to go somewhere obscure. He's going to sign a short deal, 1, maybe 2 years, maybe 1 year with an option. He's going to show the fact he can still play and then bail and go somewhere more serious. So, I mean, flip a coin. I'll take the Rockies.
Yeah, give the Rockies some love, Harrison. I love that pick. Let's go.
He's going to go somewhere random. And I mean, literally, I am just throwing it out there. Brewers, I think, is a good one. I think I can see the Brewers. I can see the Twins. I really like the idea of him going to the Guardians. I don't think the Guardians are going to do much this offseason. I just don't think they're going to.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be a good veteran to kind of fill in with a younger team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Morgan's right. He's going to try to be Bellinger this year. He's trying to rehabilitate his career, showing the fact that after the big injury, he can still play.
I love that comparison because he